Hi everyone. As promised, I'm going to show you the second part of my kombucha process. So as you can see, I had this covered because it likes to stay in the dark. And I'm not sure if you can see this. If you could catch all the stringy stuff that I was mentioning that's just hanging off the SCOBY. And there's more on this side, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's called yeast, and that's what actually eats the sugar and feeds the SCOBY and ferments the tea. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a clean bowl to put my SCOBY in. Wash my hands. Okay, so my hands are washed, my rings are coming off, and I'm gonna move the SCOBY from my jar. And here's the SCOBY, and if you could tell, I'm not sure if you could see it, let me just put this on this plate. I just want to show you something. Okay, can you see this? It's like a thin layer of SCOBY. And that's the new SCOBY that was growing onto the SCOBY I had. Actually, I still have another one at the bottom. But this is a new layer of SCOBY that was actually growing onto my kombucha. It was just attaching itself, and that's how the SCOBY grows. And believe it or not, today they're actually making clothing with this. It is so strong that they actually use it for like imitation leather. Look how strong this is. This is like something incredible. So this SCOBY here, today people are using it. There's I'm not sure what the company name is, but they're actually making garments, purses, clothing, jackets, and they're using this product right here. And wouldn't that be great? Instead of killing animals for their skin, they could actually use something that nature makes all by itself. So here's the new SCOBY that's growing. I'm just going to put it right back on top of my other SCOBY. And I'm going to put this aside for now. And I'm going to work on this. So as you can see, this is approximately, I think, about 7 days of fermenting. Now, if I would taste this, it still has a little sweetness to it, and it's not that tart, and this is this is the way we like it. So I'm gonna take this. It's not tart at all. I mean, it's got tartness to it. You can see that it's been fermented, but it's not just vinegar where you can't drink it. So I'm gonna pour this right into another jar, and I want to show you the bubbles because it's like champagne. It's really something else. And here are my bottles. These are my empty bottles that I bought like years ago, and I'm still using. I just wash them and put them aside and fill them up when I make my kombucha. I also have some nice fancy bottles I'll show you, but they're in a place where I can't really get them now, but I'll show you which bottle I'm talking about. So here's my bottle. Open it up. And I'm going to use my frozen pineapple I have. This again, I told you, we couldn't find any organic, but we did get some with no pesticides, with no preservatives added. There's more natural. But if you can find organic, get it in organic. Now, since the SCOBY doesn't like metal or kombucha, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a ceramic knife. If you don't have a ceramic knife, you could even use plastic knife to cut your pieces. That's going to go right into your jar. We're going to make this one pineapple. And it's that easy. The more pineapple you put in, the more it will flavor. Now remember, when you finally go open this up and drink it, because you want this to sit a couple of days, and you want your pineapple to your kombucha to take the flavor of the pineapple. So you're not going to drink this right away. You're going to put it to rest again for at least another 3-4 days. So you just fill up your bottle, and if you find your kombucha got too tart and there's like no sweetness whatsoever in your kombucha, I would say do add a little bit of sugar right into your jar. So here's my kombucha. Close it up, and this is ready in a few days to drink. And if you want to stop the fermentation, you could actually just put this into the refrigerator. Again, wait to drink it, but you would put this in the refrigerator. If you want it to be more tart, less sugar, leave it out a few more days, and the kombucha itself will lose the sweetness because it's a raw product, it will continue using up the sugars. So the longer you let it sit, the less sweet it's going to be. But you don't want it that you're drinking just vinegar. So do let it rest after you poured it into a jar. Like I said, this was 7 days, but you got to check it. Check it on the 5th day, check it on the 7th day. You got to keep checking. When you like that taste, you say, well, this is nice. It's got that tangy taste, and it's just not sweet. If it's just sweet, you know that it's not even fermented yet. So keep checking it after 5 days. Check it again after 7, and see when you find that perfect kombucha for you, and then bottle it. Add your fruit. There's so many things you can use. So like I said, check your kombucha. Once you're making you've made your batch, let it rest 5 days, check it, and if you see that, but you have to have a good size SCOBY, right? Because if your SCOBY is very small, then it's going to take longer for it to ferment. So taste it. If you see that it's not tangy enough, then you know that it has to be fermented longer. Okay, so I've made 2 bottles, and I want to show you. This is one that I have that I made a while back, and I made it out of lemon and ginger pieces. And I'm just going to show you. You got to be careful. When you've had them a long time, they've been resting a long time, they're very fizzy, so they will fizz up on you. So when you open it, you have to be very careful, because you're going to see, you see the bubbles, how they're coming up? So you want to do this maybe over a plate, and this way if you spill any, you could just pour it into your glass, but it will fizz up. The longer it sits, the fizzier it gets. So this is a nice one that I made a while back, and it's a great flavor. It's really nice, a fresh lemon and ginger flavor. So I'll put this back in the fridge. Okay, and I'm just going to show you how creative you can be when you're making these kombucha drinks. So we have 2 in pineapple. I'm just going to add some more right into this. And remember, when you're filling your bottle, you always want to leave some starter in there. The more starter you have in your jar, if you're making a new batch, it takes less time for it to ferment because you've got more starter in there. So you have to really check it. If you're leaving half a jar and you're making a new batch, so say you're using half the ingredients I told you instead of 1 cup, half a cup, 3 or 4 bags of tea, and you're only going to fill half of your jar, then you're going to check it maybe in 3 days to see if your tea has been fermented. And remember, keep in mind, weather also has a lot to do with it. If it's warm out, this is going to ferment faster. If it's cold out, like right now we're going to be spring soon, but my kombucha has been sitting around in the dead of winter where it slows down everything, because anything cold is going to slow down the process of the fermentation. So back to an example that we can make. We have, this one here was multi-green, but because it's a green bottle and my daughter loves her chlorophyll, I'm going to show you. I'm going to make one. I'm going to put, here's some beautiful mint, and I'm just going to well, maybe break it in half. Just throw in the beautiful mint leaves. And we're going to put maybe some chlorophyll in there. And this chlorophyll is diluted because I hate to waste anything. So what I did was I put some filtered water in the bottle, not to waste whatever was in there. And I'm going to add some more of the kombucha. So this is going to be a green minty one. I might just add some more mint to it. Some nice fresh mint. And remember, this stuff cannot be, the fruit or the herbs that are in there will have to be removed because the kombucha will just suck the life out of it. There won't be anything that's good after it's taken the flavor. So I'm just going to add just a bit more in there. You know what? I'll make it a little darker so I'll get my new chlorophyll. Okay, here's my new chlorophyll. And I'm just going to put just a little bit in there. I'm going to try and do this without spilling it. There we go. So that's a nice green kombucha. This is a minty green kombucha. So there we go. This is going to be mint. And like I said, you could use any fruit. You could use any herbs. Get creative. And it really is that simple. And yeah, so I'm going to continue filling up my bottle with the pineapple since I have it out and the frosting. Maybe I'll do pineapple and ginger. Got some beautiful organic ginger that I got last week. And how do you know it's organic? It's not as big as the ones that you get that are not organic. So we're doing pineapple and ginger. I bet this is going to be delicious. And if you see a little bit of yeast or a little piece of SCOBY went in there, don't worry, that's all good for you. There we go. I'm going to make one more bottle, and the rest is going to be, there we go. And the rest I'm just going to keep in the jar. So here's another piece of ginger, here's another small piece, and we're going to do a pineapple. And that's it. You just keep rotating. As you filled your bottles, you start a new batch of kombucha. You could also use juice, but I'd rather use fresh fruit. It's better for you. I don't even need the funnel with this jar. Just like champagne, really, really good. And that's it. Put this back in here. I will put my beautiful SCOBY back in. And this is going to be ready. This is going to be ready for a new batch. And since I have more than I started off, well, no, I still will be able to use a cup of sugar in here because that SCOBY is going to eat it up like it's nobody's business. So I'm just going to cover this up, make sure I don't get any particles in it, and start making a new batch of tea. Put this aside. And here's my kombucha that's ready to drink. I would say in 3 to 4 days. So remember, if you don't want it to be very tart, take whatever bottles you've made and put them straight into the refrigerator. And if you want them less sweet and you want them more tart, just keep them out to ferment a little more. But remember, as they ferment, because in the refrigerator the fermenting process will slow down. But if you leave it out to ferment a little longer because you don't want them to be as sweet, remember it will ferment more. And you got to check these bottles because you don't want anything to pop on you. So if you see that you've come to a point where you're satisfied, refrigerate them or put them in a cool place. Now I'll show you that bottle I was talking about. Here we go. Now these ones here, if your husband buys beer or if you buy beer, you could also maybe keep some of these bottles. These bottles I bought, and they're also great for kombucha. Like I said, if you can find some of these bottles, these are great. Otherwise, you could use jars. You could use any type of bottle you have. I like to recycle, so I'm using some of the bottles that I kept when I was buying the kombucha. And so here they are. It's really that simple, and it's fun to make, and it's good for you. I mean, you saw the benefits of this kombucha. I listed a whole bunch of stuff that it does help with. So if you get a chance, make the kombucha. Leave us a comment. Let me know if you like it. And yes, I'll see you in the next video.